well, I mean, now Arsenal have a plethora of attacking options. They finally got back Gabriel Jesus, scoring again his first goal in almost a year. Kai Havertz returning from injury. He was back on the bench against Aston Villa. And Victor Gyökeres. How much of a dilemma do you think that is for Mikel right now? And I guess, who's your starting centre forward for Bournemouth?
Well, for me, that is a good thing. It's a good sign that they're all back. You know, and then you look at Jesus. He's finished it against Villa was just fantastic. You know, he's got that composure right in that most vital time.
Yeah.
You know, he can like cut it back or chop it back when people think he's going to shoot, or he's got that one-touch finish. You know, so it's going to be good competition. You know, because obviously there's a lot of noise around Gyökeres, you know, with his form. That's for me is a confidence thing. You know, he's got to try and somehow get his confidence back. You know, because he's a proven goal scorer. You know, it's just that he's finding it really hard in this division.
Yeah, what would you say, Sis, as well on Gyökeres?
I mean, there's games that I've watched and he's making like really good runs and he's getting in good positions and it's just that confidence, or you know, that where he's trying too hard, and then there's other games where he's making a run where you're like, why are you doing that? But is that because you're trying to do things out of the ordinary that hasn't got you to your heights that you've been so successful before? I think it's a really good thing. I think it's a real positive that now there's a bit of fire in the belly as well with these strikers looking at each other going, because when things are going well in any team, and you've been in dressing rooms where you're at the top of the league and everyone wants to play. You know, if you get dropped or rested or wherever it is now, or, you know, what are their classes now? The ones finishers, that's the finishers.
Yeah, finishers, yeah.
Everyone wants to play. You know, whether they get 20 minutes, if they get half an hour, everyone wants to get in there to make an impact, to get in that starting lineup for the next game. So with that culture, that environment that Arteta's built there is superb. You know, going to train every day, you know, training must be bouncing, everyone's enjoying themselves. And everyone wants to play, and everyone wants to have the Premier League winners' medal.
Absolutely. Well, the interesting thing, they're now 4 points clear into the brand new year. But I want to show you this graphic because it is quite interesting, right? Because this is basically showing. Let's pull this up if we can. On New Year's Day in previous years, we've done it before. We've done it top at Christmas Day. I think
get in there to make an impact, to get in that starting lineup for the next game. So with that culture, that environment that Arteta's built there is superb. You know, going to train every day, you know, training must be bouncing, everyone's enjoying themselves. And everyone wants to play, and everyone wants to have the Premier League winners' medal.
Absolutely. Well, the interesting thing, they're now 4 points clear into the brand new year. But I want to show you this graphic because it is quite interesting, right? Because this is basically showing. Let's pull this up if we can. On New Year's Day in previous years, we've done it before. We've done it top at Christmas Day. I think 3 times we've done it before, and we've never gone on to win the league. How much will that be? Look, you can see it behind us here. Arsenal under Arteta. You can see here, all the way from 2020. Obviously, they were in 10th position. Ended up second there. This is when on New Year's Day where they've been and where they've ended up. How much do you think it's in their heads? Obviously, being top at Christmas, that type of vibe.
It'll be in their heads, definitely. But the motivation of proving people wrong is massive. You know, I had that all through my career, more or less, when I got released at 19. And that motivation to prove people wrong and shut people up, honestly, it can be a big driving force.
Yeah.
Really
do you think there'll be certain players in that dressing room that are like, this isn't happening again?
I wouldn't. I think that happens when in certain scenarios. So, in a few weeks, if they drop points, which I think they're going to drop points this season for the remainder of the season, that's a given. And then Man City, because you don't want the one team you don't want chasing you is going to be Manchester City. You know, and they're going to be there or thereabouts, of course. And I think it's going to go right to the wire. But there's going to be moments where they're also going to go and build on the experiences from previous seasons where they've just come so close, and they'll draw on them experiences. You know, they'll have players that have seen that dressing room. Someone like Declan Rice, the 2 centre-halves, for instance, the goalkeeper, good vocal voices that will sometimes just go, listen, calm. We've been here before. It's not a problem. Let's just worry about ourselves, worry about what we do on the pitch. Just keep doing what we've done all season and it will come.
It's like when they played Sunderland. You know, when they played Sunderland and went 1 down, you know, that in the past would have turned into a defeat.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, they seemingly have that resilience to almost get over the mark. But look, we have a very simple poll for you tonight. Usually we try and push the boat out, but this one, let's just lay down the marker. Okay, halfway point of the season. Who is going to win the league? How's that for a poll? Okay, who is going to win the league? Obviously, you can scan to vote there. We'll get your answer later on in the show. Okay, time for a quick break. Welcome to Premier League Friday. Some of the best saves of 2025 there, which brings us nicely to your specialist subject, David Seaman, goalkeepers. You honestly, you were like a kid of Christmas Day watching that clip there.
Enjoyed that. That was so good.
Unbelievable.
Like goalies making saves, like proper saves as well.
Yeah, really, really fantastic. I mean, look, let's start with your old side, obviously Arsenal. We're talking about David Raya.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been at the club for a while now, and he's just really seemingly coming in clutch for them in big moments. Mm-hmm. How good is he in your eyes?
He's getting better, and I must admit, I didn't
start with your old side, obviously Arsenal. We're talking about David Raya.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been at the club for a while now, and he's just really seemingly coming in clutch for them in big moments. Mm-hmm. How good is he in your eyes?
He's getting better, and I must admit, I didn't think he would get better from when he first joined. I knew he'd find it a little bit difficult, obviously coming from Brentford, the jump to the pressures of Arsenal. But he also had Aaron Ramsdale to deal with, and that pressure, because Aaron was such a fan's favourite.
Yeah.
For David to come in after about 5-6 games, after Aaron had been voted the Premier League's goalkeeper of the season the previous season by the players. Of the previous season by the players, was massive pressure on him, and I was wondering whether he'd be able to cope with it, and he's said in interviews that he found it hard, and he got to a stage where things weren't happening the way he wanted it to, and he changed it, and he's just getting better and better now. The saves he's making are incredible. Yeah,
I mean, his stats, show for themselves. I mean, he has been nothing short of fantastic for us. I mean, obviously a fantastic defence in front of him as well, first in the clean sheets.
Yeah.
Catches as well, which is massive, and aerial duels as well, obviously 8th there. But, I mean, a lot has been made of David Raya's height, which is an interesting one. I know that there was a few fans online saying that he makes saves look good because of his height, because he's not as big as the others. But he's the smallest goalkeeper in the league.
But do you know what's weird though? Is that he doesn't look small in the goal.
No,
he fills the goal up.
Yeah,
I remember when we signed Richard Wright and Arsene Wenger was there, and we were doing our drills, and I went in goal, and then Richard went in, and then I came out, and Arsene went up to me. He went, David, he says, why does the goal look so big when Richard's in it and so small when you're in it? But with David, the goal looks small. He's got a presence about him. He's got a confidence about him. And he's also got this calmness, and I think that's what the coaches were looking for, because when Aaron was first in, there was a little bit of but not erratic goalkeeping, but he looked on edge a little bit. And then he started bringing the calmness into his game, but then he got left out. But with David, you've got a guy he's so comfortable on the ball, and the catch. I was surprised at the catch.
Thierry Henry will win the Premier League. Reactions after shock loss to Villa. David Seaman, Arsenal are EPL favourites. Big praise for David Raya. Jamie Carragher names 2026 PL, Champions League, World Cup and Ballon d'Or winners. With 2025 now been and gone, it's time to look ahead to what the footballing world will bring in 2026. Or at least, that's what Jamie Carragher had done by naming his Premier League, Champions League, World Cup and Ballon d'Or winners for 2026. The pundit only got his hands on one of those trophies, the European Cup with Liverpool in 2005, but has made a career for himself post-retirement as having some of the strongest opinions in English football. As such, it's no surprise to hear him kick off the year with some bold calls. In many ways, 2025 was the year of the underdog, with the likes of Tottenham Hotspur, Crystal Palace, Newcastle United, St. Mirren and Aberdeen all getting their hands on rare trophies. As for 2026, it's anyone's guess, but here's what Carragher has predicted. Carragher's Premier League winner for 2026. Writing in his column for The Telegraph, Carragher started by tipping Arsenal as his Premier League winners. The Gunners have not lifted the trophy since 2004, but it looks as though this could finally be their year, as they currently sit top of the division with a 4-point lead on Manchester City. Explaining himself, Carragher wrote, "Arsenal, they have the best squad and everything is in place for them to end a 22-year wait. If they do it, it will be built on the spine of the team and solid foundations laid by their goalkeeper, centre-backs, and Declan Rice." That said, he did note that it won't be straightforward and that injuries are the biggest obstacle Mikel Arteta will likely face. He also refused to rule out Man City, noting, "If City are still within touching distance of Arsenal by then, Guardiola will be confident, and Arsenal, especially their fans, will be nervous. That could yet be a decisive factor." Carragher's Champions League winner for 2026. The Liverpool icon, who won the Champions League in 2005 and also made the final in 2007, snubbed all English teams for his tournament winner this time around. Instead, he picked Bayern Munich, explaining how Harry Kane could be the man to lead them to glory. The competition promises to be the most exciting in years because there is no obvious winner. A year ago, Paris Saint-Germain emerged from the pack after an indifferent start to the tournament. The usual suspects, Real Madrid, have been inconsistent and look beatable, even though we know they tend to find a way once the knockout rounds begin. Manchester City could be the team to watch in 2026. With Haaland on fire, no one will want to draw them in the latter stages. My tip, however, is Bayern Munich. They are among the top goal scorers in the competition, with Harry Kane playing as well as any striker in Europe. Carragher's World Cup winner for 2026. The biggest event in the sporting world across all of 2026 will be the World Cup, co-hosted by Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Carragher never made it further than the quarterfinals as a player, and he doesn't think England will be able to do much better this summer. Indeed, the pundit thinks the Three Lions will likely fall short at the semis under Thomas Tuchel. Instead, he tipped France to win the whole thing, writing, "France, they have so much class it is difficult to look beyond them. They've been the winners and runners-up in the last 2 World Cups, and in Didier Deschamps, they have a World Cup winning coach whose more pragmatic approach should suit the hot temperatures in the United States. Such is the pace and skill in the French lineup, there are times when you think they can be even better. It would be great to see them play like PSG in the Champions League. But they have the players to get the job done whichever approach they take. Any country navigating a path to the latter stages will want to avoid the French." Carragher's Ballon d'Or winner for 2026. With France's World Cup glory in mind, it makes perfect sense that the Ballon d'Or winner would also come from that team. While PSG winger Ousmane Dembélé claimed the prize in 2025, national teammate Kylian Mbappé has been tipped to win it this year. Carragher confidently claimed that Declan Rice will win both the PFA and FWA Player of the Year, but the biggest individual prize of all will go to Mbappé. In a World Cup year, the Ballon d'Or is always won by the star player of the victorious country. As France are my prediction to win in the United States, this could be Mbappé's year. He was third behind Messi and Haaland after France were beaten in the last World Cup. It will certainly be interesting to revisit all the predictions at the end of the year to see how many were accurate and how many were way off the mark.